Yeah. So Carrie, I've told you a little bit before. You know a little bit about Aiki Wiki.
Yeah, like so far my read on it is just it's 0, 1, and 2 are basically representing yes, no, maybe. If I have that right.
Something like it. Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, that's fine. Sure. Yes.
I was gonna say it's funny because it reminds me. I have this thing where it's they're like 3 standard animation cliches, cliche poses, attitudes, even characters. And I was thinking that Zach actually makes sense representing your 2.
I do.
Yeah, because he's very personable, he's creative, it's intuitive.
Aw.
Even though obviously it might be more complex than that.
Mhm.
And then Rome, I see you as like the 1, like you're sort of, you make the assertions, you give simple, rational, objective summaries of things. You like to make things collaborative. And I kind of see me as like a weird combination. I mean, what the hell? Kind of.
Yes, I can vouch. I can vouch for you.
Right?
Definitely, yeah. Well, that's a splendid interpretation, right? So, Carrie, if you can just understand those 3 simple things, both of you guys, I promise you, you can understand Aiki Wiki.
I'm ready.
Okay, my body is ready.
All right. Okay. So, what is Aiki Wiki? Aiki Wiki is a digital online library as a platform for conflict resolution and consensus building at scale on the internet. That's the purpose of Aiki Wiki. And so there's a non-dual consensus theory and methodology to it, but as a platform, it's a digital platform for consensus building.
And can you explain for the audience kindly what specifically a consensus is?
Well, consensus is just really, it's any kind of agreement. Doesn't matter. It's interpersonal between you and your girlfriend, but commercial, political, legal. Consensus is a social construct between 2 viewpoints. We even call it consensual reality. So just think an agreement of some kind. So basically, in Aiki Wiki for consensus building, right, voting is never used. So there's no voting to determine like the outcome of a consensus. There's no admins, there's no forum admins, there's no third party, right? There's no attorney in the middle. So all this resolution is directly user to user. And it's collaborative, right? So this platform is this collaborative platform to kind of win writing and editing permissions, because this is a consensus article process, and the permissions to publish, edit, write, or change the consensus are awarded to individuals who can be measured, right? To be trustworthy, to be collaborative and honest. So the entire process of just argument, conflict is actually changed into a different kind of almost like a game. And this kind of a game is a win-win game. So you can have 2 people who disagree, but they can have this win-win argument.
I like that.
And because it doesn't require voting at all, it just takes 1 person to dramatically affect a large consensus. Right? Like 1 person can change the outcome if there's 100 people in the consensus, just 1 person. So I want to give you an example of what this means, because as a platform, what I'm saying is like we could have 100 people gather together online to build a consensus on Aiki Wiki. And these 100 people are, let's say they're Republicans, Democrats, Muslims, Christians, right? Atheists, it doesn't matter, any group that you could think would never possibly have any kind of agreement. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that of those 100 people, if they were to build a consensus article in Aiki Wiki would be able to generate a rational consensus from their discussion into 1 article, 1 single consensus article, as if it was like magic. They don't even have to have the intention.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is awesome. I call it consensus consensus from article construction.
Yeah, how do you wrangle so many voices, so many disparate voices?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, the process is so thorough, right? That 1, it's transparent. So the process really can't be disputed in and of itself,
Why can't it be disputed?
Because the process itself requires dispute. Right. So it's like if there's a dispute, all the system does is process a dispute into a resolution.
Okay.
Right. And and that's all it does. Right. So if you were dispute a resolution, you see what I mean? So what does this means is that you can have a digital platform, right, on the internet that could allow a large group of people to obtain a fully rational and mutually resolving consensus that can be programmatically obtained, but also psychological. Without voting, there's no thumbing up and down, there's no likes, there's no dislikes, no admins, no third party. This consensus will also be comprised of everyone's best natures and best behaviors.
Okay, so what you're saying kind of reminds me of game theory. Is it like that?
I think it's exactly like that, right? So the idea is the algorithm and computer interface is very psychological design. All right. So if anyone in this process, if they were, negative, they want to manipulate a consensus, attack it, deceive it. This process. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
If you wanted to be a troll. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they could be trolls. It doesn't matter if they wanted to be able to do that. The platform itself, right? There's no upside in the architecture of the actual platform. So any of those choices, there's just no payoff.
Well, that's awesome.
So I can't imagine how that could work without any voting. How does the computer determine anything about what people are saying?
Well, it doesn't. There's nothing. The computer doesn't determine any of that, right? So the idea is that this is not like language learning or anything like that. I know this isn't your world cap, but basically it's not like some special AI that can, read language and figure out what people are saying. Think of it just like a magic kind of a contract, like, smart contracts, right? So think of this as like a magic contract, and a magic contract will only allow people to negotiate into a resolution. I know this sounds over the top what I'm claiming, but it's only possible to do this because the whole platform only exists for the purpose of conflict resolution and change your conflict into resolution. And it has no purpose outside of that, right? So all stories in the world are also some form of conflict and resolution. So I discovered that there is this narrative structure. It's kind of like a logic. It's like a logical language. There's a logical language to narrative structure. And this narrative structure also follows the patterns of a conversation. So if the conversation can accept ternary paraconsistent logic. A story, right, and a conversation, I discovered this kind of programmatic logic to them. So basically there's 9 narrative arcs that all conversations have. If this is a conversation where there's a disagreement, right, there is 9 possible things that can happen in that conversation, from disagreement to resolution. And these different 9 arcs are in every story, right, every conversation. And they can also account for every possible kind of conversation. Doesn't matter what the content is about, all possible psychological choices, all that kind of stuff. So this is a very kind of like a very elegant algorithm, and it can kind of organize all of these very kind of complex things. Is it possible you could create this virtual or digital environment that's kind of written in this kind of like deeper design language?
Maybe in Europe.
Right. No, well, that's what Aiki Wiki is. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want. I was curious to see if it was possible. So that's what this is, and you guys gave me the space for it. So the Aiki Wiki is like environmental design, a markup language that can be applied to digital and virtual environments. So like, even I'm not expecting Twitter to adopt it, but very easy, right? This language can interact with social media. So if this was Twitter, right, like that's all that would need to change on Twitter. Yeah, that's it. And then so you call up a tweet, and same thing, right? Just like I showed you, that the tags would come up, right, with each selection.
Oh, dude, that would be so cool, because Twitter is like the cesspool of discussion.
How am I going to troll though?